hey, Jerry, whatever you got to give up to go get Shador and Travis as a tandem, like what they did with Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, you go do that.
Jerry
you go
who?
do that right now. You go do that.
Jerry who?
Jones.
Man, they got Dak Prescott. Man, they not about to draft him.
I'm tired of defending Dak Prescott. I've been defending Dak Prescott for 8 years. I'm tired of it. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and we got another episode of All Facts and No Breaks. But before we get going, I want to remind you all to follow All Facts, No Breaks Pod on social media or wherever you get your podcast, for that matter, wherever you get it at. I know you're not getting it in the store, so that's pretty good. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We need to hit 100,000 subscribers before the Super Bowl, so I'm encouraging you to please sign up and get us there. We got a great show today, bringing back RJ Young to talk some college football. And yes, I was dead ass wrong about the Michigan USC game. I don't need any more reminders. I don't need anyone.
We were right
laughing
about the over, though. Over 46.5.
Yeah, we might have been right about the betting and the over, but I was overall wrong about the game.
Correct.
But if we played them again, we'll beat that ass. But anyway.
Forget that. Let's talk Monday Night Football. So, Bills.
Good.
Yeah, Bills dominate Jaguars 47-10. Do you think the Bills are for real or the Jaguars are just
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Jaguars are trying to figure out if they even have a team or should they go to London and play. And the Buffalo Bills are for real. Josh Allen, 4 touchdowns, doing all of this without Stephon Diggs in the lineup. They're right now the number 2 team in the AFC conference behind the Kansas City Chiefs and possibly the number 2 team in all of the NFL, depending on who you're asking from a ranking standpoint. But, yeah, I think the Bills are a team that you certainly – want to watch. I really enjoy watching Josh Allen play. I think he's grown up a little bit more now. Now let's see him finish the deal because they got a nice little stretch coming. The first 3 games, not so great, but they got a nice 3-game stretch with the opponents coming right now.
Are you confident in saying they'll win their division?
I'm not because the New York Jets are playing good football and they're trying to figure it out with Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to come down to one of those two, and then you might slip a New England in the air that might stub somebody's toe.
Oh, yeah.
No, not winning, but they might slip up and beat Buffalo or beat the Jets or something like that, and then you got a different conversation. But right now, the division comes down to the Bills and the New York Jets early 3 weeks into the season.
So another 0-3 team, the Bengals, were upset by the Commanders, 38-33. We had Jayden Daniels on here. He did well, 21 for 23, 293 total yards, 3 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 141.7 pass rating. So how did you think he did on his first Monday Night Football game?
I think he did well. I think he's going to grab a hold of that Rookie of the Year trophy. I think he's got it right now in one hand, but he's going to put it in both hands here real soon. 91% completion percentage. Never heard of from a rookie in the National Football League. You
Franchise
mentioned his
record.
statistics and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had him as the number 1 quarterback in this rookie class anyway.
Yeah, you've been saying that.
From day one.
From day one.
Yeah. I can see it. I know what I'm watching. I know that Caleb is having some issues on the offensive side of the ball in Chicago. A lot of that probably is due to how they're running the system and doing things over there. But Jayden Daniels, Washington, he's got him at 2-1. What can you say? He's in my opinion, he's out front far as far as Rookie of the Year is concerned.
I agree. Okay, so Cowboys, they're tied for last with the Giants in the NFC East. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your panic meter for the Cowboys? Because usually they start off strong then they end off bad.
I would say it's a 5.
Okay.
I got them starting off at 2-4.
Oh, yeah, you did say that last
week. They might be 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
I got them 2-4 before the bye, and then they go to San Francisco. They could be 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
But now they got the Giants. The Giants on a Thursday night in a short week. That's 30 hours from now or thereabouts. They could lose to the Giants based on the way that they've been playing.
Giants
Imagine
look good
that.
this week.
Then they got to go to Pittsburgh,
who looked good, really good.
Then they play Detroit.
Yep.
Then they got a bye. Then they play the 49ers. And I believe after the 49ers, without me looking at the schedule, and I don't know it off the top of my hand, real quick, they got Atlanta. They got Philly in there somewhere. They got the Texans in there somewhere. And then all of a sudden the Commanders. So that stretch after the Giants, there's about a 6-game stretch right there. Man, that shit gonna be hard.
Right.
So, you look up and they got 5-6 losses on their resume like that.
How do you feel about Jerry Jones saying that they couldn't afford Derrick Henry?
That's semantics.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, the team is worth $10 billion.
Right.
And I ain't counting his money. But don't tell me you can't afford something. Kick the can down the road. The salary cap increases every single year. Just manipulate the salary cap, kick it down the road, keep kicking it down the road, kick it down the road a little bit more. It's about this year. It's about this year. Jerry Jones continues to say, even last year, he was just talking about he don't have the time to waste. He's older. And he wants to see a Super Bowl. So kick the can down the road. First of all, Derrick Henry's not the problem. It's your defense giving up the amount of yards that they've given. They've given up 185 yards on an average this season in run defense, in the running game.
Crazy.
They got to stop that. And they can't even run the football. If you want to go back to the offensive side of running the ball, it's not all about Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb needs some help.
If you don't have a run offense, you're not going to have
and CeeDee Lamb needs some help. Go get somebody.
So let's talk about the Panthers. Andy Dalton, Red Rocket, balled out. Only player in the NFL this season with 300 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in a single game. Do you think that Bryce Young was the problem? We kind of talked about this over the weekend.
Jeez. I don't know if he was the problem opposed to just not being able to survive in the National Football League and play within Dave Canales' system and what it is that they were trying to get done, where Andy Dalton walked in and it looked like a different team.
Our whole O-line was blocking 10 times better. I don't know what it was, but we just looked like a whole better team with Andy Dalton.
I don't even know how you can keep saying we.
Why do you keep saying, like, I am a Panthers fan?
Somebody that lives in
We're
North
still
Carolina.
going to the playoffs.
Like, nobody roots for the Carolina Panthers other than people in Charlotte. Like, seriously?
It's okay. We got a nice fan base. I'm going to keep saying we. But so you don't think he was the problem? You think maybe that he was just thrown into the fire a little too
I think
early?
So. Wasn't seeing it clean, not seeing it clean, a little smaller. But he gets an opportunity to watch. Just take a step. Maybe he learns from it if they ever insert him back into the lineup.
Do you think that they will insert him back into the lineup this season?
Think so.
I don't think they should. But yeah. Okay, so then Antonio Pierce, on the other hand, at the end of the game, said that the Raiders who lost to one of the worst teams in the league. They said that they're going to make business decisions. People were making business decisions. Who do you think that he was talking about?
I don't know. I texted AP yesterday. I hadn't heard back from him. He's trying to obviously game plan and try to figure out their next win. But who knows? It's certainly some players that he wasn't happy with.
Yeah, there was clips with like Jack Jones, Devontae Adams.
No, it ain't Jock. He been knowing Jack since Jack. I'm sorry. He been knowing Jack since Jack was in high school. He coached him, I believe, at Poly. Mm-hmm. So that's not a problem. Devontae Adams helped him get the job. That's not a problem. People paying to Devontae because he was sitting on the bench at halftime and looking as though he was disinterested, which is the furthest thing from the truth. It's somebody that wasn't doing their assignment and doing their job, that was loafing and not serious about the situation. So what that means is somebody's going to get cut, somebody's going to get benched, and that's what it means.
Have you ever had a business decision that you've made on the NFL field?
No. None. Played to the whistle.
Well, yeah. I was going to say like contracts, but I guess not really.
No business
decisions.
Meaning that you're not a participant in the particular play.
Yeah.
Like you just stand there and watch your running back get teed off on because you decided I wasn't going to block at this point. Or I decided I wasn't going to get into that pile because I don't want to get run up the back of my leg. Those are business decisions. Or an interception is happening and I'm not going to chase to make the tackle. Those are business decisions. Your father never did no shit like that. That doesn't even.
Yeah, I feel.
That doesn't even register in my mind. That gave me hives just now even thinking about that.
That I even asked you some shit like that.
Even asked me some silly shit like that.
All right. So a little earlier, we got to talk to college football analyst RJ Young. Here's that interview. RJ, how we doing today?
We getting there, money. We're hoping for a better outcome for the Oklahoma Sooners going into this weekend, but we all right.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, Dad, RJ, both your guys' team took an L this weekend. Conference debuts. We'll talk about SC first. What do you think went wrong?
What went wrong?
I mean, they can't stop running the football. Like that was plain for everybody to see. I didn't expect SC to get beat, one, and I certainly didn't expect them to get beat by a quarterback whose line is 7 of 12 for 32 yards. To me, that ain't got nothing to do with your pass defense, because your pass defense apparently pretty good. You just can't stop anybody running the ball, Keyshawn. Tell me about that, dog. Like, what's Danton doing? What wasn't he doing?
290 total rushing yards.
Yeah, we sort of tried to, and we couldn't really
Egg on your face, huh?
Figured, man, it's a long flight. A lot of turbulence getting there. It was a long flight. That's all I can say. We've had a little bit of issue stopping the run since Lincoln Riley. Since Lincoln Riley, I'm all fogged up right now, RJ. I'm trying to figure this thing out because I'm a little confused as to what went wrong with our defense. In all honesty, though, we ran up against big boys. And we kind of, going into the game, we knew that the front line of Michigan was going to be hell. We knew that. We're making the transition, so to speak, from the Pac-12 conference to a bigger, more beefier conference with upfront guys that can push you around. In Oklahoma probably feels the same way in the SEC, so to speak. They're making this transition, and they gotta match that with the personnel and the roster over time. And that's what happened. Now look, we got up late in the game and we could have closed it out, but we didn't close it out. We allowed them to get in a position to win the game, and that's what happened. 9 times out of 10, I'm taking USC in this situation.
Well, Miller Moss had 3 throwing touchdowns, and he threw a pick 6. Do you think the offense is also to blame? The fact that you only get 24 points?
No, I don't think they. I thought Miller Moss did okay in a different environment. It's just new. Let's see what happens this week, the Wisconsin game, where they get to play bully ball again against a team. Let's just see what happens and transpires. I'm more worried about USC long-term than I am short-term, because eventually we're going to get the type of bodies that we need to be competitive at a high level. Now, look, they're going to be in the Final 12. That I can confidently be sure that we're going to be in the Final 12. I can be sure of that. 100. Don't be looking at me with that look on your face and batting your eyes. I'm sure SC, because if they're not in the Final 12, Lincoln Riley going to be in trouble, and that's not what we want.
I would like to make a wager. Can I make a wager? Can we make a wager?
Yeah, absolutely.
We love that.
I want a signed Keyshawn Johnson USC jersey when y'all don't make the playoffs. That's what I want.
How can I get that? I don't even know how to get the jersey.
Hey, we'll figure that part out then.
No,
I'm
because
sure somebody around LA got your jersey.
No, you would want the authentic, the real thing, though. You don't want something, out of a sporting goods store. You want the real thing from the equipment staff. The problem is our jerseys slightly differ from when I played to where they at now. There's like, they got maybe a stripe or 2 different or something like that.
Okay.
But whatever, we'll get you number 3.
But what do you want if they do make
That's
the
what I was going to ask.
Oh, what would I want? I don't know.
He just said he was getting to the money.
I don't know what I would want. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Give it some thought.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't bet. So
let's talk about the Oklahoma Sooners, though. So Tennessee beat them 25-15. They struggled on offense. I feel like they replaced the quarterback that you said was going to be talked about as Caleb Williams, which I think is a little far cry. But how do you feel about them? What do you think they need to improve?
I mean, it would be nice to have a quarterback that don't throw the football to the other team. You can start there. Yep. You can start with Oklahoma had 3 turnovers on first down. All of those are Jackson Arnold's fault. I don't want to hear nothing about how the offensive line is beat up or how the wide receiver core is depleted or how we got a true freshman back there at tailback that we expect to be a breakaway candidate. But no. Jackson Arnold threw the football to the other team. And the defense gave you 2 turnovers inside their Tennessee 50. You got a turnover on the 35-yard line. You got a turnover on the 20-yard line, and Jackson Arnold promptly gave that football back to Tennessee.
Right, that was crazy. It was back-to-back turnovers.
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't having a good time. I didn't feel like Oklahoma got bullied in that game at all. I felt like Oklahoma had a piss-poor quarterback play, and then you have Michael Hawkins Jr. come in, and he shows a little fight there toward the end. He's going to get started against Auburn. It don't feel good because it doesn't feel like Tennessee beat Oklahoma. It feels like Oklahoma gave the game to Tennessee.
I agree with that.
Who won the game?
I mean, you saw the score.
I'm just saying. You say they
Nico
don't
had
feel
2 fumbles, stuff like that.
Doesn't matter.
They couldn't do anything with it. That was crazy.
Tennessee won the game, man. Damn the statistics. Tennessee got back on that plane and they celebrated. Oklahoma, they was trying to figure out on that one little street where like 4 bars are and maybe a small little restaurant. That's where they hung out at after the game, not feeling good.
Look, man, we lost to the number 5 team in the country.
Oh,
you
God.
lost to a team that got doubled up by Texas at the same venue.
Yeah, we lost on
you
the
lost
road.
To a team without a quarterback. We lost because we didn't have a quarterback.
To a team on the road with a good game plan offensively against our defense, and that's what happened.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. Okay? If you had a quarterback like Alex Orji throw 7 of 12, how quickly are you going into the transfer portal?
Yeah, but we smart enough to not have that type of quarterback. That's just not what we do.
The name of the book is Throw Me the Damn Ball.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Miller Moss will be fine. Don't you worry about us.
RJ,
we'll be fine.
Speaking of quarterbacks, how do you feel about Michael Hawkins? I feel like he came in and played well. He's going to start on Saturday against Auburn. How do you feel about him?
I really like the dude's moxie. His skill set is scarily similar to Jackson Arnold's, which tells you just how quickly things can shift and change. But what I really enjoyed is he was unafraid to throw himself at the goal line. He was showing tremendous courage and trying to go get 6 against a team that had the game won, frankly, and hadn't given up a TD in the last 19 corners by an offense. He got 2. If he can play with that sort of energy against Auburn, I feel good about his future. And also, let's not be coy about this. He didn't give the ball to the other team. And any quarterback right now who is not giving the ball to the other team can play at Oklahoma.
Are you confident that they can make the top 12, Oklahoma?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
We like an honest answer.
As if mine wasn't honest. USC can make the top 12. We don't have a tough road ahead.
I can grow to be 6'5". I can grow to be 215
we don't have a tough road ahead.
And I can grow to 40-yard dash. But what's the likelihood of that happening?
Well, I mean, that's probably not going to happen right about now for you.
SC kind of in the same boat. Right about now, not going to happen for you.
We got Wisconsin coming up this Saturday, okay, at home. Then the two teams that I think is on our schedule that make you go, maybe Penn State, but we got them at home. And maybe, just maybe, Notre Dame, and we got them at home. So those are the 2 teams we got at home, and we watched Notre Dame struggle a lot this season. So I'm not James Franklin coming to town. I'm not. No, I sleep well at night. James Franklin.
All right, well,
I will sleep well. Trust me.
We'll form up like Voltron on that James Franklin because that's another conversation. That's another conversation. Right. I think you're onto something though. Meaning that you get past Notre Dame, you probably are putting yourself in a good position. I just need you to win both of those games and not lose them.
Yeah.
So another team that you've been fond of is Colorado. They beat Baylor in overtime, 38-31. You sent me a whole thing of when the students flooded the stadium.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, right? How do you feel about it? How did you feel about that performance?
I thought it was fine. I mean, look, Baylor is a good football team. As a coach would say at a press conference, that was a good football team we just beat. That was a really good football team that we beat. Solid and sound. They play hard-nosed. They've been in this conference before. Good football team. They got good coaching. David Aranda, great coach, defensive mind. In the end, a win is a win is a win, no matter how you got it. It took overtime, but they won.
It was crazy, too.
It was crazy.
They showed the thing 30 years before, how they threw it And then it was just like pandemonium. That was
And to make that catch in the rain, for Shador to pull the trigger in the rain, going from right to left, all of that thing is beautiful.
And then Hunter forced the fumble.
Hunter forcing the fumble. They won 4 games last year. 4, RJ. They already got 3.
You know they're predicted to lose their last 7.
Okay, that's fine. They predicted
I don't believe it, but that's what the
nothing I saw from any of those other Kansas and Kansas States and all, Arizona and all. I ain't afraid of none of them. If I'm Prime, I'm not afraid of none of them. Got to do a better job of protecting my son. I got to clean it up a little bit. But other than that, they're a much better team than what people want to give them credit for. And a lot of that credit is the fact that a lot of that discredit is the fact that people don't like Deion. And they don't like how he came into the league. And they don't like certain things about how he rolls and gets things done. So people are going to always feel a certain way to knock the program. But in all honesty, and you know this, RJ, is covering college football for Fox, is they're 3-1. No matter how they got there, they're 3-1. They're 1 game away from the 4 wins that they had a year ago. They're 3 games up already. 2 games up already on what they had a year before Deion got there. So the program is heading in the right direction.
They were 3-1 last year, too. They finished, as you said, 4-8. The franchise plays quarterback, wide receiver, and corner. And I believe that Travis Hunter should win the Heisman Trophy going away. We've never seen anybody do what he is doing. He's played 500-plus snaps so far this season. He'll probably be the first player to have a 1,000-yard receiving season and multiple INTs in the same year. If Shohei Ohtani could wear football pads, I would put him in the same conversation. But that dude plays a sport that ain't about hitting people. We play a sport that's about hitting people. To your point about the Deion part, I mean, look, Kiki got on The Rock, right? He got on the original heel. The dude is going to bring all this attention to you. He's playing his part. I don't see hate or dislike so much as I see a man that has given something of a personality to a program that ain't had one, right? So much so that y'all got to pull out Michael Westbrook going over the top of Ty Law's dead body 30 years ago in a Hail Mary to find a comp for beating Baylor, who got the backup quarterback out there and was on the goal line looking to tie the ball game. And a game that should have never had 38 points scored in the first place by Colorado because they should have been one away with this. But you talk about the quarterback, talk about the offensive line. I'm going to ask you this way, Keyshawn. If you are Travis Hunter, you playing wide receiver for Shador, do you want that boy continue to run around looking for you to be open or him to get waylaid? Because that's what's happening. He's running around looking for his number 1 target to be open so he can throw him the ball. And when he does, it's a beautiful thing. When he don't, he getting destroyed. So I'm asking this like sincerely. Would you rather the man throw the ball away going down as we get deeper into the schedule? Or do you want to keep it, seeing him take 8 sacks so he can throw for 300 yards?
Yeah, I want him to get rid of the football a lot faster. He tends to hold on to it longer. But the running around part for Travis Hunter, it's a lot of on-schedule plays, though. It's not a lot of off-schedule plays to Travis Hunter. It's more on-schedule passes delivered when he hit his back foot to Travis Hunter than it is him running around delivering footballs to Travis Hunter.
He has deeper routes.
They just got to protect him a little bit more, and he's got to get the football out of his hand. He holds it a little too long for my liking. Just a little bit too long. But he is pretty damn good. Pretty good.
He legit. He can spin it. I told everybody that listened, hey, Jerry, whatever you got to give up to go get Shador and Travis as a tandem, like what they did with Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, you go do that.
Jerry
you go
who?
do that right now. You go do that.
Jerry who?
Jones.
Man, they got Dak Prescott. Man, they not about to draft him.
I'm tired of defending Dak Prescott. I've been defending Dak Prescott for 8 years. I'm tired of it. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You laid down against the Baltimore Ravens. Get up out of here. I'm tired of it. Keyshawn, do you realize that I ain't won no Super Bowl since I was 9 years old?
Well, I didn't
you realize I
no,
watched the Eagles
I
win
didn't
a Super Bowl?
realize that.
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've always been a Dallas Cowboys fan. Oklahoma, Dallas Cowboys. It's like that. I'm starving over here. I'm starving. And if the least you can do is make them fun, and they not even no fun to watch play. I'm watching Micah Parsons.
Did you
try to hold it
did
together?
You really think that the Cowboys are going to beat the Ravens? Did you really think that going into Sunday's game?
0-3? Sheesh.
They
Of
was
course you
0-2
didn't.
before they got to Dallas.
That doesn't mean anything. They were at that time they were the best 0-2 team in the league.
What you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you I ain't had no hope? I ain't had no hope. We're looking for some hope. That's all.
Okay.
They got Zeke back when we could have had Derrick Henry. And watching Derrick Henry just stomp all through them. Go get me Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's circle back to Travis Hunter. So Coach Prime thinks he'll find it easier to succeed in both positions in the NFL. Do you guys agree with that? You guys think that he'll be better as just a two-way player? Because he's saying that, like, him being on the sideline will just make him less jittery, stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know, Travis. As far as his play go, I see him more as a corner in spot play duty at the receiver position. It's hard. Man, it's going to be hard to play 100 plays in the National Football League. It's just hard. Now, and I don't think because of the investment that would have to go into it, RJ, that they would want to invest that type of money in a risk sport. When I mean by risk sport, risk of injury or any little thing happening that you're paying a handsome ransom to not take full advantage of it. I just think that full-time as a DB, part-time, 15 plays, 20 plays, maybe a game on the offensive side of the ball.
RJ?
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. I also didn't think that he could play both ways at the Power 4 level the way he is doing it. And one of the things I think makes him interesting and I think an actual threat is that he is on the field for every snap. So if you bring him in on third down, right? Let's say you bring him in on third and long situations to play wide receiver. Well, we know where the ball's going, or we know where you want the ball to go.
You think you know where we want it to go.
You could have emotion and stuff like that.
You think you know those things. I didn't say we had to get him the football. He may just be on the field to draw the eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
You can just use him as eye candy.
Let me ask it this way. You gonna be comfortable being a decoy?
Well, he's gonna have to be comfortable.
I don't think he will be.
He's gonna have to be.
That's my thing. He
part
got
of it.
ego,
That's
like
part of
everybody
it.
got ego.
Yeah,
you know?
but there are guys in the National Football League that are paid to play wide receiver that are pretty fucking good, that are really good at the receiver position.
Are there any corners?
So it's a little bit, it's not apples to apples. It's a little bit different in the NFL versus college football. I know he's playing 100-plus plays a game. It's just so different. You can't lollygag in the National Football League at corner because they decided they're not throwing your way. So you kind of just resting, so to speak, to go on the offensive side of the ball. That don't work in the NFL.
Let me ask it this way, because I think you're making a great point that I really would like you to unpack, having played that position for so long. If you know that you got Travis playing primarily corner, but he out here basically effectively running gassers as a wide receiver, are you more inclined to want to line up on that man? Are you more inclined to want to go after him as a corner?
But he doesn't have to run gassers. I didn't say he had to run deep. He could line up in certain situations, in certain packages, and he can run a hitch. He can run a slant. He can run a seam. It's different things that we can do with him. We don't have to bring him in and put the football in his hands. You don't have as many guys in the league that are somewhat cardboard cutouts and decoys. Again, I must say this. They pay $35 million plus for Justin Jefferson's. They not taking the ball out of Justin Jefferson's hands to give it to Travis Hunter. They just not going to do that. That's just now, will they implement some things in the game plan that will allow him to maybe touch the football here and there on the offensive side of the ball? Of course they are, because they wouldn't be smart if they had a dynamic player like that they didn't take advantage of in certain situations. But he ain't cutting into Jamar Chase's money. It ain't gonna happen. It's just a league. They're not gonna do it.
Who's the last person that has had like a full package type of
nobody?
Like
Nobody
Deion, maybe not even.
No.
Yeah,
Prime got his opportunities to touch a screen here or a slant there, a go route here, a post there in the Super Bowl. I mean, just they toy with it. Charles Woodson toyed with it. Champ Bailey toyed with it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to. It's like me. I
Yeah,
played in the
safety.
2-minute at the safety position. They wasn't leaving me out there all. Now, if they wanted to leave me out there for the entire game to play
Don't fool
safety,
yourself.
I probably could have done it, but it would have taken away from my offense.
Right. Okay.
It just would have. So they said, you know what? In these special situations, we can utilize him on the defensive side of the ball, which is fine. I don't, because I was an offensive player. I wasn't. If I would have played defense, I think I still would have been pretty good if I would have been a solid defensive player. Been pretty fucking good, but you know me as a receiver, so you never even in your mind think that growing up, all I did was play in the secondary. I didn't start playing receiver, RJ. I didn't start playing receiver until my senior year of high school.
I believe it. I believe it because
I played all defense.
I believe it because that's what we do in high school. We take the athlete, we put them on defense. I coached high school football, right? We had a fellow by the name of DeMarco Cobb. DeMarco Cobb played quarterback for me, and I was told by head coach, move him to wide receiver. Why? Because we got guys that can throw the football. We don't have 6'4", 210 on the freshman team. Throw that man the football. And I said, he wanted to play quarterback, and they didn't listen to me. He transferred to Central. He ends up at Texas playing linebacker where he would start for 4 years. The point there being, I don't know who let you, or I should say, how you got to be a wide receiver. I am happy to know that you became a wide receiver, but I also know there's a lot more money in playing wide receiver than there is in playing safety.
Yeah, DB just wasn't, I don't know. It was more just receiver.
Dad, do you remember Juju Smith at Long Beach Poly when he was a safety?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like the best safety.
He could literally been the best safety.
God,
he literally could have been the best safety in the country and been a high pick as a safety.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I feel like
100%.
receiver safety, if you're that big, you can do it. But let's talk about some big games this week. Georgia, Alabama. Who you guys got?
Where's it at?
I believe it's at Alabama. Yeah.
I'm taking Alabama.
I agree.
RJ?
RJ?
Alabama.
Nick Saban ain't there no more.
Right.
And?
That's all right. All right. How do I say this? I expect Jalen Milroe to play either out of his mind or not at all. Okay. I think that Jalen is a walking black dynamite. Okay.
Well, he is black.
But black dynamite in the Michael J. White way. That's what I'm saying. Okay. He can make it happen. Problem with that is, if he tries too hard, he's going to throw that football to Kirby Smart's defense because you know damn well, A, they've seen him. B, they're fast enough at every position to run with those wide receivers and to run with Jam Miller in that backfield. It's really, you could be right covering everybody. You could be wrong covering everybody. I'm going to pick Georgia, if for no other reason than I got Georgia's #1 team in the country right now. And I expect that defense to just overwhelm whatever Nick Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer tried to do, because they've just been that defense the whole time. Until somebody beats Georgia, I'm picking Georgia.
I understand. I just like the foundation at Alabama. Nick Saban left, although some of those players have gone since, he recruited. But I watched Kentucky, Georgia. Kentucky gave them that game. Here, man, go ahead. They gave him the game.
Yeah, that quarterback.
So I haven't seen that with Alabama this year, despite Nick Saban not coaching them.
South Florida. So they lead in South Florida 15-14 in the fourth quarter. And then Alabama exploded for 28 points with 10 minutes left to go. They're both capable is what I'm saying. They're both capable of wanting to give you a football.
But Alabama used to do the same thing with Nick Saban. You look up, it's 14-13 in the fourth quarter. You go to the restroom, come back, it's 35-13. You're like, damn, how did that happen?
I don't think South Florida is as bad as people think they are either.
South Florida's bad.
They played well against, not well, but I mean, they scored
South
a little
Florida
against
South Florida hadn't been good since, man, I don't even know. South Florida, when we was in Tampa, since what was the
they were good in like 06, 07.
No, what was the head coach there that became like he was Oregon's DC for a couple years? You know what I'm talking about?
Jim Leavitt. Jim Leavitt.
No, not Willie Taggart. The white cat. Jim Leavitt. They haven't been good since then. They tried everybody. Charlie Strom, the dude from Clemson, Jeff Scott, Willie Taggart. They done tried them all.
They had my boy Blake Barnett out there from Alabama. Remember him?
Yeah. He
Santiago?
played there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
For
I
like
know
2-3
he
years.
coming from that with the heart because he was down there in Tampa too long going, y'all call yourselves a college football team?
No,
He's
they
out
was.
there,
That's my boy. Shout out Blake. Nah, but let's look ahead to Texas, Oklahoma. That's the game for you. What do you think's gonna happen there?
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
man.
dun, 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 dun.
We got to teach you Boomer sooner. That's
That
what we got.
sounds like it though, doesn't it?
No. We have to teach you Boomer sooner.
Teach.
That's why I was making that face over here because we got to teach you Boomer.
I got Texas in the runaway.
I can't argue with you right now. I can't. Like they got twice as many quarterbacks as Oklahoma right now. You know, like the reason it might be a ball game is the way that it was when Bob first got to Oklahoma. Defensively, they'll just stop you. And if defensively they can just stop you and we don't turn the ball over, then you're talking about a ball game. And maybe you catch Texas looking ahead to Georgia, right? Depending on what Georgia, Alabama does. But right now, I need Oklahoma to beat Auburn. And then I will be more than happy to tell you more about Texas, except right now, it's number one team in the country.
Dun, 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 dun.
Is dun 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 dun.
No,
Okay.
it's cool. My son took a trip. No, we went.
No, we did. Coach Stoops.
Yeah, we took a trip to Oklahoma.
Offer there.
Yeah,
But what I was gonna ask is,
but we wasn't fooling with it. They only had a Moe's Mexican little thing right there, little
Why you gotta
cantina.
I
that?
liked Oklahoma. I liked it. It was
Thank you.
dope.
Thank you.
Man, they had a Moe's. That was it. A Moe's across the street from the stadium.
So let's talk about Texas though, real quick. So how do you guys feel about that Arch Manning situation? Like when Quinn Ewers gets back,
He's a starter.
He's back to the starter.
Arch Manning is cool. His time will come. They're not getting ready. Sark not getting ready to play that game. Not right now. No.
I mean, they get to play another Group of 5 school this weekend called Mississippi State.
That's what I'm saying. They come on, man. He's
I'm
really good with
kidding.
good players around him. But if you trying to throw him against Alabama and all them, slow down. Not enough experience yet.
Would you agree with that, RJ?
He cold.
He's cold. Thank you.
Keyshawn,
He's cold.
He's cold.
He is a very good quarterback with the last name Manning. And so what we will do is we will turn that into Peyton Manning. Look at this. Look at what they did. You
With
got to
wheels.
slow it down.
Peyton Manning with wheels.
Let's see it against Georgia. Let's see it against Tennessee. Let's see it against Oklahoma. Like, let's see it. We've seen the other quarterback in big moments and bright moments. So you just got to, I'm not saying that he won't turn into being the all SEC and the number one pick in the draft when it's time comes. I'm not saying that. You're not going to go away from the starter to go to Arch Manning based on injury. You're just not going to do that.
So if he was to play in the Oklahoma game and win, then there's no reason to not give him.
No, because Oklahoma's not good. That's like playing a group of 4, a group of 5, whatever you call it. Or playing against Oklahoma will be the same as playing against Louisiana Monroe. It's the same thing.
Crazy.
For them, for Texas. Go ahead, RJ.
It's like a Michigan.
Shoot your shot.
I mean, you just compared Oklahoma to Louisiana
Crazy.
Monroe. I ain't.
Just being disrespectful.
For Texas.
For no reason.
That's for
You just
Texas.
compared Oklahoma to Louisiana Monroe.
For no reason.
For Texas.
Look. This is not West LA Community College. Okay. All right. Okay. This ain't Long Beach Poly.
People
This
gonna
is
hate me.
University
in
of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All right.
No, they got pride.
On the Arch part, they're in a really good spot. Like, honestly. So
Yeah.
we live in a world where if you don't play right away, you want to transfer. And if you play right away and you're sorry, we're probably not going to want you to be around any much longer. Anyway, the transfer portal works both ways. Name, image, and likeness works both ways. That said, Arch Manning is in no hurry to be the starter.
Yeah.
And Steve has said, that's my guy. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback at Texas.
Yeah,
It's
he
about
came
whether or
on
not
here
he's
and said
healthy
that.
enough to play this weekend. There is no QB controversy, but I'm going to tell you over and over again until you listen. Arch Manning is cold.
I agree.
Change his last name. He's cold.
Yes.
It-
I'm not saying he's not. But
Okay.
he's not playing in front of Quinn. It's not going to happen.
No, because he ain't got to.
happen.
He ain't got to.
Yeah.
He ain't got to. But if you want to put them in a 40-yard dash, I know who's going to win.
Yeah, no, he struck out on that one for sure.
So I said Peyton Manning with wheels. He was kind of moving.
Yeah, that's why I don't really know if he's really related to the Mannings because he was running.
I hope not. Peyton to become Peyton until after he threw them 28 picks as a rookie.
It happens. It's hard to be good as a rookie. We're seeing it this year.
Hey, T. Martin won that national championship. Not Peyton Manning.
Hey, hold on. Don't get me going down that road. Don't get me going down that road.
You got a road you want to go down?
I've been to Knoxville, and I've been to games. I've also been on Peyton Manning Boulevard, and I also been on T. Martin Alley.
They got a Casey Clausen Street or anything?
There's a huge difference, right? Manning gets the road, and my dude get an alley walkway. Like, come on, man. Like, what?
That's crazy.
But
Shout out T, hey, man. He got the natty and everything.
Same thing.
Somebody brought it home.
I watched Peyton Manning in his first game against UCLA out here at the Rose Bowl. So, I've seen it all.
RJ, thank you so much for coming on again.
Kiki, Keyshawn, thank y'all for having me on.
All right, boss.
All right, let's talk NFL power rankings. So last week you had Bucks at 6, Saints at 5, 49ers at 4, sheesh, Bills at 3, Texans at 2, and 1 Chiefs. So what do you got now?
Yeah, it changed a little bit. So I got 8 teams versus 6. Keyshawn, you mentioned the Bucks, the Saints, the Niners, the Bills, and the Texans.
Okay, top 8 now.
Now it's 8. And I can tell you just off the top of my head, the Bucks, the Saints, the Niners, and the Texans are nowhere to be
found
out
of there, huh?
in this week. And you say, well, how could you do that? They only lost, blah, blah, blah. Here's why. Sitting at number 8, I got the Green Bay Packers doing all of this despite not having Jordan Love at the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. Malik Willis is leading the charge, and many people thought when Tennessee decided to part ways with him and trade him to the Green Bay Packers, it was a smart move by the Packers to go get him because you need backup quarterbacks. You need quarterbacks in this league. He's holding it together until Jordan Love comes back. They sit at number 8.
Okay.
At number 7 is the Detroit Lions. The Lions. Rawr! They took care of business. That sounds like a kitty cat.
Yeah, it wasn't really much of a lion. It was like,
rawr! There you go.
There we go.
They took care of business. They're 2-1. I like the Detroit Lions. No matter what anybody think, they went down to the desert. They exposed Arizona to a degree. Jared Goff played phenomenal. They just did everything.
They look like the Lions.
They look like a team that is going to compete in the NFC conference.
Right.
They were not in it a week ago. They're in it at number 7 now. Then you move to number 6. The Ravens are 1-2. And you scratch your head. You say, well, how could they be in it? They 1-2. I can't believe. Yeah, they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs with a toenail just like that. They took care of business in smashing the Dallas Cowboys.
They almost did the Ravens special and lost and almost came back.
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They didn't know. They went full control of the game the entire time. They had a number. They did a number on the Dallas Cowboys. They ran for over 240 yards on the ground between Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, they led the whole game. So.
They the best 1-2 team in the National Football League. At 1-2, there's nobody that's going to tell you the Ravens may not be there in the end. I believe they possibly will be there. Okay. They sit at number 6. Number 5 are the Seattle Seahawks. They came out of nowhere. They're undefeated. Okay, they're 3-0 with Geno Smith, a new head coach. And despite not having Walker in full-time in these 3 games, they still getting it done. I think when you look at this football team, for whatever reason, they're just kind of much better right now than they were under Pete Carroll a year ago. They're sitting at 3-0. They're number 5 on my board. Number 4, the Minnesota Vikings, another undefeated team, top of their division. Green Bay slightly underneath them, but Sam Darnold, the resurgence of Sam Darnold, was thrown away by the New York Jets. Basically, Carolina didn't really believe in him. They faked like they did. They capped like they did. Then they got rid of pieces around him. Then he was gone. Then he goes to San Francisco to back up Brock Purdy. So it's not really his team. He's just there. But he finally gets an opportunity, and this is the best cast of skill position players that he's ever been around in the National Football League. That's been his team.
Yeah.
That's the key, is his team. He went in having to battle it out with J.J. McCarthy in training camp. McCarthy gets hurt, which I never thought that they should have drafted him in the first place because they had Sam. And then you put Sam with Addison, you put Sam with Jefferson, and you say to yourself, okay, Aaron Jones now. I mean, like, seriously.
That was the question I had. So he's on a 1-year contract. Say he keeps playing like he's playing. He wins the Pro Bowl. You pay him.
I pay him. I
And
can
then
move
J.J.
on from
McCarthy,
J. McCarthy.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I can move on from J.J. McCarthy. I could trade him. That's okay. I could Josh Rosen him if I choose to do so. Or I could keep him around for a couple years because you always have to have depth at the quarterback position.
But you're gonna pay Sam Darnold if he continues to play how he's playing.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely, I'm gonna pay him.
Okay.
I may not pay him $60 million, but I may pay him
Geno numbers or something.
Something that's worth it
Yeah.
for him to stick around and be in the system with a coach that knows what the fuck he's doing.
Right.
And Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell, yeah.
At number 4, that was the Vikings. At number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles defense showed up in New Orleans. New Orleans was the top scoring team in the NFL through the first 2 weeks of the season. They erased that.
Mm-hmm.
The Philadelphia defense went in there, held them to 3 points late in the third quarter. They gave them, they spotted them 15 points to win the football game. They held them to 15. Think about that. They held a high-scoring, flying New Orleans Saints down to 15 points. And they took care of business. They won the game on the road. Philadelphia, to me, is a much better team than what we saw when they lost because they lose the game. Saquon Barkley catches that football or they run a different play, they win the game.
Yeah.
That's
probably
just the way I
scary
look
to
at
be an Eagles fan. It's a lot of stuff going on, 4th downs and stuff.
Yeah, the Eagles, though, the Eagles, Schmeagle, Beagles. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills sit at number 2 on my board. Josh Allen has proven that he can win games without Stephon Diggs in the lineup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Arizona Cardinals. Like, he's showing that. But now it gets rough for the next 3 games. That 3-game schedule that's coming up is a little bit of a doozy. But I got him at number 2 behind the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1.
Yeah,
doesn't change much from a week ago in terms of, where the Bills were at 3. They moved to number 2, right behind Kansas City. I yanked the Texans
number 1's
completely.
Chiefs, obviously.
Number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I yanked the Texans completely out of my top 8. They go down to Minnesota and get completely embarrassed to a point where it's like, man, y'all just got embarrassed. Y'all don't deserve to be in the top 8. Now, next week, they may go and win. And
if there was like a top 10, they'd probably be 10 or something.
Yeah, they could be in that 10 spot, 9 spot. Pittsburgh's not in there.
That's
and the reason Pittsburgh's
not
not there.
Why is Pittsburgh not up there?
Because I'm still scratching my head on what Justin Fields is. What is that? Are we going to see Justin Fields from week 1? Or are we going to see Justin Fields from week 3 and week 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8? Like, what are we going to see? Next week, they might be in there.
Yeah.
But that's it for now. I just want to remind everybody that's my top 8. It's the big board. It changes from week to week. I may go to 5. I may go to 10. I may go to 6. I may go to 3. I may only have one team, and the rest of the league may be sorry as far as I'm concerned that week. But here's what I want to tell y'all. Here's a number that I want you to call. It's 915-295-3228. That's right, 915-295-FACT. That 3228 spells out FACT on your telephones and not the rotary phones from back in the day. You should still be able to tell what the numbers are. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to be featured on this show. So what we're doing is we're taking calls, and I'm answering questions from the callers. Don't curse. Don't act ignorant. None of that. None of that craziness. Keep it nice and clean and simple, and we'll take your calls, and we'll try to answer them best we can. Let's take one of the 2 calls. Hey, what's up, man? It's Keyshawn. Leave your name, where you from, and let us know how you feeling or what you want to know or talk about, okay? Keep it under 30 damn seconds, too. And don't be all that craziness. Just talk clean and clear. Okay, bye.
Keyshawn, it's JV in New York City. I'm a Bears fan. Out of place, out of home. Love your football intelligence, and I love you and your son. So question, what do you think about the Bears, Caleb Williams? The Bears didn't really deal with their offensive line. Simultaneously, we see Justin Fields in Pittsburgh sort of blooming and developing. Just want your take on all of that. I think Caleb's going to be great, but, man, they didn't give him an offensive line to work with, did they? Am I wrong? Tell me. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're not wrong. But what I would say to that, though, Keyshawn, is it's 3 games into the season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if they can get it fixed and turned around, because we all thought veteran players, trades, free agency, they bring in players on the offensive side of the ball, whether it was Everett, whether it's Keenan Allen, whether they re-signed DJ Moore to an extension, whether they drafted Duze, Swift,
Mercedes
Lewis, all of those guys we figured would help Caleb along the way. The biggest mistake for me that the Chicago Bears made was not offering or giving Cliff Kingsbury the Chicago Bears job.
He looked like a beast yesterday.
Instead, they gave it to Sean Walters. I think that's if I'm saying his name correct. If not, I'm sorry. Somebody could correct me on social media. But what I would say is, when you are looking at Caleb and he's throwing the ball 30+ times a game, that's not what young quarterbacks are supposed to do. Young quarterbacks are supposed to drive the bus. You're supposed to play defense, run the football, and every now and then there's a play or two that needs to be made by a young quarterback. You saw Jayden Daniels do it. We've seen other young quarterbacks do it. Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC championship games with Rex Ryan and the New York Jets because they could run the football with Thomas Jones and company. They had like Braylon Edwards, I think, at the receiver position, and they played defense. That's the recipe. Mm-hmm. But Chicago, for whatever reason, they're doing something totally different. They should look at the way Pittsburgh plays right now. Look at that in Justin Fields and say, you know what? Probably smart us to play like the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to run the football, play defense, and not really rely on our quarterback to win games. And if they do that, bring Caleb along slow. Just bring him along slowly.
It's just hard because they don't have the O-line that the Steelers have either.
Well, if you got him dropping back 39 times, you're going to fucking expose him.
Yeah.
That you don't do that to a young quarterback. You just don't. But anyway, caller number 2.
What's happening, Keyshawn? My name is Trey. I'm from Vegas. I guess my thing is this. Number 1, with the Seahawks. I feel like they're not getting a whole lot of love. So, number 1, do you got any love for the Seahawks? And number 2, why the hell do all these different sports networks not give a lot of love to the Seahawks? Let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate you. Go Hawks.
He said he was from Vegas?
From Vegas.
Or is he in Vegas? Because it sounds like...
No, I think he said he lives in Vegas.
It sounds like he might be in Vegas, in the casinos, by the gaming, drinking a little something. But that's just how he sounds to me. I'm not judging by any stretch of the imagination. I'm giving them love. They're number 5 in my poll this week. Yeah. They're 3-0. Geno's playing pretty good football. They're 3-0. What do you want me to say? I don't.
Well, he was saying like all the other places weren't giving.
I ain't got
love.
nothing to do with what everybody else.
Why do you think that is?
I ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
But why do you think that is?
Because they're in a division with the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, even though the 49ers are struggling and people are banged up, they're in the division with the 49ers. There's a new head coach. They fired the old coach, Pete Carroll. Yeah. And so when you look at all that, they win an overtime game against New England. Who did they play week 1? I can't remember who they played week 1. But you start looking at what type of team is this really? Like, what are they? Are they a good team? Are they gonna be there in the end? Or are we gonna watch the slipper, the Cinderella shoe, on Geno Smith? Is he gonna turn back into a pumpkin? Like, what are we looking at? That's why.
I feel that.
We're all waiting to see if it's real or just the beginning of the season. Is this still preseason for everybody that they're playing against? That's a wrap for today's show. Thanks again to RJ Young for joining the show. He brings great knowledge to Fox about college football. Remember to follow All Facts Pod on social media and all of our podcast feeds, and subscribe on YouTube. We need to get to 100,000 followers. Please subscribe. We need your help to do this. Until next time, peace.